Video is intended to describe a rather simplistic power pack named Abundance. Joining me today on this tour will be my whimsical stick figure chakra map, as well as one of the proper Abundance predecessors in the Lightblade wand format to give context. So in this time period, there actually are 19 of these constructs. This is March 6, 2025. 19 of these constructs operational and in distribution quite literally across the world since beginning of early January of 2025. So the concentration of 19 of these different devices in short succession has generated tremendous vibrational compound interest. And why that perhaps may be relevant to notarize in this video is that this may not be as complex with the vibratory threshold potential of such a vastly exotic component such as the wands and talismans that have gone into distribution at this point, as well as even a ginormous staff version of this, which is 6 foot and far more complex than this Lightblade wand before me, which is basically could be said to serve as the flagship of the Abundance Crusade as a joke. But why all that's relevant in this last minute rant, of course, is bringing context to put into theoretical dissertation that this particular platform's had a very expansive push of vibration of this particular abundance ratio. So this would serve as a nice little segue power pack cousin to the more dynamic, intensive constructs before it. And without further ado, what makes the abundance frequency is a particular combination of ignition sequence stones. Starting off with clear quartz right here to be a neutral accelerant of the energy, going into the quintessential stone of abundance and royal notarization, emerald, which is the quintessential green ray heart chakra stimulant of the abundance spectrum, very well notarized in the human history of magical utilization through royal casts, as well as being a very famous opulent stone, is quite literally well known by all of humanity for its legendary connotation as a precious stone. So essentially, that is the quintessential stone of abundance, in my humble opinion, as a rather obsessed crystalline enthusiast, to say it lightly. Going into rutilated quartz to make a massive acceleration of the energy, which is rutile is bands of titanium oxide inside a quartz structure to intensify the current. Going into peridot. Peridot is a fantastic stone of growth and a great stimulant of the third and fourth chakras, as well as I consider to be a crystalline containment of the energy of that of chlorophyll. All this aspects how growth happens. So in regards to abundance aspects, it also works as a great fun, positive energy and a great expansion of receptivity of abundance. Going into clear quartz, going to emerald once again to be that opulent green ray abundance, then going into golden healer quartz, which is the quintessential high heart source energy alignment. So in theory, in this ignition sequence, having the perpetual terrestrial green ray stimulation of the heart chakra's ideal configuration of the abundance spectrum, then having the intensification as well as the little dose of gold white light source energy would be considered to be somewhat of a holy grail alignment generator, just saying it theoretically right there, as the primary blade band ignition sequence. And so, like I mentioned, this is a very small, clandestine version of the concept right here, which can be easily concealed in a pouch, put in a pocket, to be non-obtrusive and rather, once again, clandestinely wielded, or just worn in the pocket, and the daily life of the wielder is lived, quite simply. And so the central core of the construct right here will be a clear quartz to be the neutral program carrier of the abundance spectrum, which of course could be a compatible resonance with this guy right here in theory. Then underneath that would be white selenite right there, which works as a fantastic master healer in its own right, but also where it really shines in this construct is the capacity to take the entire closed loop reactive circuit to purify all the crystals in the simplistic abundance ratio and to amplify all of them together as well as harmonize. So when you have the triumphant trifecta of amplification, purification, and harmonization, most importantly for equilibrium's sake, it makes for grounds for a truly effective spirit tool. Then combining that with black kyanite to be a consistent bridger of energy into the earth for consistent reprocessing, which is also another crystalline contingency to, of course, make the magic real in the concept, to make sure the energy pathway is always being encouraged to ground into the earth, where, of course, that's the tangibility range of the earth plane. And so, like I mentioned, it's extremely simplistic, and the notarization of its predecessors was quite critical to give context of the potential that has already been in distribution, performing great feats of miracles, if I would say, which I will admit to keep this video consolidated and condensed. But there we have it. This is just a very simplistic abundance power pack seen right here that, like I mentioned, can be easily worn in the pocket, very low profile, pocket rock, easily forgotten about, wielded passively in the background, but keeping that firm, well established at this point abundance frequency in the field could prove to be rather advantageous. I say that very theoretically, of course, to be a near disclaimer, but that basically would just summarize it in only about 6 minutes. Well, 1,000 blessings to anyone watching this, and may you have an abundant day.